Hello, hello, and hello. I get caught off every time. I got to do better. I'm over here trying to share the stuff out, do my part, and yeah, this time be creeping up on me. Anyway, how are y'all doing on today? Happy Tuesday. Y'all know what it is. It is the Let's Unload podcast, and I am here with my beautiful co-host, Miss Dina. And y'all, we gonna get a little spicy today. Okay, we were a little spicy last week, and other past shows, but let's get a little spicy. And we're gonna talk about setting boundaries while you're dating. And although I put when you're abstinence, I think let's just have the conversation, period, with dating, and let's not put a little chokehold around one topic, okay? But before we get into our conversation, you guys already know what to do. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all know we gotta do our church announcements, okay? So like, comment, subscribe, share this out, tell a friend to tell a friend, okay? If you have not subscribed to neither one of our channels, what are you waiting on? Please subscribe over to Dina's channel. Her channel is Journey with Dina, and my channel is Deep Conversations with Sean, okay? So be sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so when we go live, guess what? You'll be notified, okay? Now, while we also doing this, drop down in the comments and let us know who we talking to, okay? And so y'all can also join in on the conversation. Now, as far as how church announcements go, tonight is our season finale. Cue the confetti. Woo! We've done a full season. It's been tonight makes the 10th episode. We came in. I'm gonna say unsure. I feel like my co-host was like, "Oh my God, what have I gotten myself into?" And I was more like snatching her, saying, "Girl, come on, we're gonna get on this camera and talk."
And she did.
And I snatched her on over here and said, "Girl, it's going to be fine. We're going to do just fine." And look at that. We have did just that and did some. And I am looking for this platform for both of our channels to grow expeditiously, and that the Lord will continue to put his hand and lay his hands on it. And the one thing we always want to remember in the Bible always tell us, we do not despise small beginnings. It looks low for now, but we don't stay in the valley long. And one thing that people don't show you is where they begin. Sometimes people just pop out and you be like, "Dang, a millionaire," and not knowing that it took them 3 to 5 years to get to that millionaire status, right? So if y'all hang in with us, we're gonna hang in with y'all, and we doing the doggone thing, and we're going to continue to press towards the mark, okay? We're gonna press on. We're gonna move on. And I'll probably say it again at the end. But tonight is our season finale for season 1. And we'll be taking like a 2.5 week break. It ain't that long, y'all. Just a little break for us to regroup, get some more subjects, get some more topics, and we'll be right back at it on April 8th. Okay, we'll see y'all again right back in about, I think it's about 2 weeks. I don't think it's nothing longer than 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. So wait.
I got my church announcements out the way. Miss Dina, how are you doing on today? How you feeling?
Woo, child. I was a little tired, but I was here.
You
Get out, I'm here. I'm here. Today was a beautiful day outside. Like,
Yes,
I
it's such a
wish
pretty
it
day.
can stay like this every day. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love that. But
So do you like the winter, or you're like, keep me in the springtime?
actually, I like the fall.
Okay.
Not too cold, not too hot, not all the allergies and the stuff. Baby, it's probably why my eyes hurt now because I've been outside in the park. My eye hurting. It's something. But I do like this weather right now because it is amazing. So amazing.
Yeah. When the weather break, it do make you feel like, oh, I just want to go spend some money. See, that's what
Yeah.
happened with me when the weather break. You be like, oh, I want to go to the mall. Let me go to the movies. Let me go out to eat. You be about to spend money. When it's cold, you be want to get to your car and get to this house, and I ain't coming back out.
Right.
But when it's pretty outside, the sun shining, all the things, you be like, let me go spend a little dime or two.
Yeah. Sit outside, patio pimping,
Yep.
and just like I don't want to go to work. I don't even.
Yep, then you definitely get the feeling the itis about work. Be like, do I have to go?
Do not go outside on your lunch. I'm telling you.
It messes you up every time. It really do. Cause I do it. I go out for my lunch. Even if I bring my lunch, I always sit in my car, because I be needing a break. I just need a moment just to get away. Not that nobody did anything to me or anything. It's just like a mental break for me, that I get out this fluorescent light building. Let me just step out for a moment, and I kind of get back to it. And then when the sun be shining, I be like, I already got my purse and my key. I could just drive off. I could just go on and leave, but I do the right thing, and I get on back in their building, and I go and finish out the day. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. We're talking about setting boundaries while dating. And like I said, we're not just gonna just make it about where your abstinence. Let's just talk about it in general. But before we get there, Miss Dina, what we looking like for the icebreaker? Do we have one?
So I was kind of thinking of one, especially when we was talking about the weather. So I don't know. Have you ever been on a cruise before?
Never been on a cruise.
Well, that was going to be my question. Would you rather be cruising or go over to a resort?
I'm gonna pick a resort.
Me too.
And even though I've never been on a cruise, I'll be honest, I don't feel like I'm missing out if I never get a chance to get on a cruise. I will be all right. It's not on the to-do list. It's not on the bucket list. If I get to do it, fine. If I don't, and it's not that I can't do it. My son and my husband have motion sickness really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who don't have motion sickness and they've been on, they're like, you can't even tell you on the water. They say that all the time, but people who deal with stuff like that, they can. Like, my son can't even turn around if he's sitting in the passenger seat while we're driving, because he gets sick. So in situations like that, I don't know how he would do on water. And even my husband, I don't know how he would do on water either. So because of that, I'm okay with it. And I don't know if I would necessarily want to do it without them. I mean, we go out, I travel without them a lot, but I also feel like in certain things, I wouldn't mind my family being a part of it. And I don't know, but I'm okay if I never get a chance to go.
Well, they do have stuff for that motion sickness because I do get, child, be so sick just driving around the city if I'm on a passenger seat. Like,
Mm.
I be like, Lord, how is this gonna work? When I get married, my husband got to drive everywhere. So how I'm be sitting on the passenger side if I'm gonna be taking drugs because I'm be knocked out because it give me a headache. I just feel
Yeah.
so nauseous. I have to roll down the windows, baby. I be
Yeah.
like, what is going on? I
Mm-hmm.
can't take no medicine just for that. But for me, it would be a resort. Like I've been to one resort, and baby, they have just taken my breath away. In Jamaica for my 40th birthday. When I
Mm-hmm.
say that was the best trip that I have been on
Okay.
thus far. Like we felt like we owed them money when we left.
Wow.
Like
That's amazing.
we had ate all the people food, honey.
Get your money's worth. I'm
And
here for it.
and the weather was amazing. I mean, oh, you talking about the weather outside now?
Mm-hmm.
October, it was amazing. It was like the days were long. You
Mm-hmm.
just had a good time all day long. Food at your disposal, entertainment, like that's it for me.
Yeah.
I would never have to go on another cruise. Either I've been on one, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite sure that was because of the people who I went with. They weren't really my friends. They were some family of some friends and all that kind of stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. A couple was mine, but it was just okay. It was nice, but I wouldn't have to do it again. But I will because I am going this year for the Bahamas.
Oh, okay. And then I have a thing about being in the middle of nowhere. You know, I need to be with some street lights at. I need to be, if I need to walk out and touch the ground, I don't know. So again, I'm not afraid. Let me make it clear. I'm not afraid, but I am okay if I never do a cruise. I don't feel like my life has lost value if I did not go on a cruise. I would be totally fine. It's not that big of a deal to me. Okay. But
Okay.
all right, let's go ahead and get it started. So we're going to talk about setting boundaries and what do that look like for you. So let's start with you, Miss Dina. What does it mean to set boundaries?
Well, first of all, we ain't gonna be rude. We're gonna speak to the guest that is on here and tell us hi.
Yes, ma'am. I
Miss
did
Lynette.
highlight the name,
Okay, hey
but I can
girl.
do it again.
Sometimes my eye hurting right now.
I did highlight.
Oh, let's see. Boundaries in dating, honey. First of all, I gotta pull out my dating book.
Okay, dating book.
Things, girl, it's just I'm just playing. But I need one because the things a lot of stuff has changed. But for me, setting boundaries look like going out somewhere. Sometimes you set yourself up for failure. But I think you should kind of venture out while dating, whether it be like we said, Starbucks or like a movie, or even you can do a fun date or something like that. But for me, I kind of set the boundaries of like being in close range. No, I can't do the Netflix and chill part right there because
Mhm.
they're just gonna that's the setup for failure. So it's just so hard to say, girl, because I've been out the dating game for so long. I'm a little rusty, so I don't know what it is that you're supposed to do. But I know, baby, we can't chill at the house. We
Can't
got to
chill at
go
the
out.
house.
No.
So let's read what the Googles say what boundaries are. So it says, how is life treating you? Trust, safety, and respect the importance of boundaries. Boundaries help determine what is and and is not okay in a relationship, whether they be with friends, partners, co-workers, bosses, or family members. Ideally, we put them in place to protect our well-being. They help us build trust, safety, and respect in relationships. Common boundaries include emotional, physical, sexual, intellectual, and financial. They can apply to any aspect of your life where you feel they are needed. It requires a certain amount of self awareness and reflection. Are you ready to start setting boundaries? So I asked this question before we dip our toe into what are the boundaries. Do you feel that boundaries are necessary when dating? And this is for the chat as well, whether you're abstinent or not. Do you feel like boundaries are necessary when you're dating?
For me, I would say yes.
Okay.
Because you know what the old saying is, what's understood don't have to be explained.
Mm-hmm.
So if we kind of set some boundaries in the beginning, then you won't waste my time. I ain't gonna waste your time. Because at this point of life, we ain't got time to waste like that, okay?
Right.
So I feel like if you set some boundaries, I ain't saying just go in hard, on the first time around, because you might not even take another date. You might not see them again. You might just get some
Mm-hmm.
stuff. No, I ain't really feeling this. So I think, once you have that first initial time, and if you can tell, maybe, there may be a person to talk to. And I think as you getting into it, as you baby walk yourself into it, I ain't talking about like months and years and stuff like that, but I'm saying like in the beginning, then you kind of start setting your boundaries, or I like to say, for a nicer word, your expectations. This is kind of a nicer way of saying boundaries, because boundaries just are like, look, is this, or that?
Yeah.
And some things that you say might not be this. You might kind of be a little more lenient if they brought it to you in a different way, but just to say boundaries at the beginning like that, they're gonna be like, you said what now? But
Yeah.
I do think it will help relationship, whether friends, possibly. It just depends on what kind of friends you got. But thankfully, I ain't got no friends that I gotta have no boundaries with. But you have those people. Thankfully, I'm not one of those.
Yeah. So shout out to I feel like her name is pronounced Anel. If I'm mispronouncing it, please let me know. I butcher a name, child. So let me know. Shout out to Tasha B. She said, hello, ladies. Shout out to John L. Griffin the second. Good start. Tasha B comes back and said, yes, I think boundaries are necessary. And John also says boundaries are an absolute must. It sets the tone for what you expect and what's expected of you. So let me say this. I'm also out the game too, so I don't really know what this look like. So Dina, you're gonna have to lead this one out, friend, because I don't know. But I will say this when it comes to friends and in relationships. If I had to start this thing all over again, I feel like boundaries would be a part of the relationship life.
Mm-hmm.
I honest to God feel that boundaries have to be there, because I do feel like you have to set up certain walls. I don't think you should just give your heart over to anybody just because they got a pretty smile and a bankroll in their pocket. I don't feel like you should be able to, and that's where the emotional part come in, which I end up reading. I don't feel like that you should, give over your body because of the money, or because y'all had a good connection and we just linked together so good. So I do feel like boundaries is something that needs to be set. And I do feel like it is a way to keep you on the straight and narrow path, right? And keep you on track. So for me, if I had to do it again, I would most definitely be on the side of, yeah, I'm gonna have to set some boundaries. I ain't coming out the house at 9 o'clock. I'm respecting boundaries, unless it's something else going on. But this ain't booty call hours. I'll holler at you later. I'm not about to. You gonna get out the house at 9 o'clock?
It depends.
But I said that it depends unless it's something like the movie don't start and we already out. But you hitting me up at 10 o'clock talking about what you doing, but I'm asleep. What are you talking about? Like,
now here's the thing. Now you said 10 o'clock, but first you said 9 o'clock.
yeah.
So what if they call and say, hey, come meet me such and such?
I don't know.
They might want to go. I don't know what's open, baby. I be in the bed at 9, so I'm just gonna say they might want to go and shoot pool. Well, they say, hey, come meet me at. I don't know if Click's still open, but Click's, so we can shoot pool, or it's been a long day. They might have been out of town. You haven't seen them, or they may have to work late, or you had to work late, or y'all just been busy, and they call and say, hey, now it's 9 o'clock. Now, it depends on if I like you or not, if I'm finna get out the house at 9. Now, if I don't like you, but I'm asleep, I ain't coming. But if I'm still curious, let me see. Because, what we don't want to get in is a routine of, so that was one of my problems that I had, was getting in a routine of things and not being, what's the word I hate? Go with the flow, right?
Yeah.
So, because for me, being single, I got my mind set on what I'm finna do for today, okay? Once I get out of work, I'm finna go and do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And then you call me and say, hey, let's go to dinner at 7. I just got off at 5. In my mind, I got a whole schedule. I don't want to come meet no dinner. I'm finna go clean my house up. Like,
so you're saying in the beginning, y'all still getting to know each other, all the things, and you get the call at 9 o'clock. And you're like, oh, well, because I'm kind of intrigued, I kind of like this person, I get up, even though I'm in the bed and I'm asleep by 9:30, right? You say you're willing to get up because you're intrigued by this person and you like this person?
You miss all the rest of it. We've been working, we've been busy, we ain't had time to actually connect. So if you call me and I ain't had nothing to do, whether I'm laying down or in the bed, I ain't got to really be at work early, then hey, I might. So what I'm saying is, like, I had to try to get out of the routine of this is what I want to do and it's done, versus being flexible with somebody else's schedule. Now, if he calling me at 9, 10 o'clock, talking about come on my house, that's an absolute no.
Mm-hmm.
But now if he calling and said 9, 10, hey, let's go grab something to eat, I ain't seen you, we ain't seen each other, so let's chop it up, okay. This doable. Now, am I gonna do this every week? Absolutely not.
So those got to be my next question, because what if this becomes a routine, or what if this become a every day or every other day type situation? Then what?
Now, first of all, only how that is working like that is if your schedule is the same every day. If your schedule is where you tied up all day long and you don't have nothing until the evening, either I'm gonna see you maybe once during the week, and then maybe we might have to wait maybe to the weekend. But I'm just saying about being the situation is just But I ain't gonna just say no, because for one, it ain't gonna be no booty call, no way, because I'm not finna come to your house that time.
Mm-hmm.
But if we going out, I'm open to it. Let's see. And then once I get there and I see how it flows, if I'm comfortable, okay, this is cool. It wasn't no side stuff, because we going in with a side eye. Like, let me find out. So I'm just saying, I ain't gonna just say no because you call at that time. It just depends on the situation. That's all I got.
So, okay, I give you that. I'm all for go with the flow. We talked about this in past episodes. So I'm definitely on the side of I'm okay with going with the flow. I don't need to have an itinerary about everything and all of that. I'm okay with let's get up and see where the wind blows us, right? But I do feel like when we're introducing ourselves to dating and opening ourselves up to doing these things, I do think that is a part of boundaries. Now, I think you could be willing to bend, and like I said, if I was in that situation, be willing to bend if we've been trying to connect all day, and like you said, he ended up getting off late, or I got off late, I couldn't make 7 o'clock, but I'll be at home by 7:45, give me time to change, take a shower, refresh, and I can meet you at 9 if you still want to. That's one thing. But to do it just because it's a Tuesday like today, I'm gonna put a boundary up and be like, no, it's kind of too late. You know, we can try again this weekend or maybe tomorrow. I'm free if you're free around 7 o'clock. But on a random Tuesday and I got to get up and go to work tomorrow, I mean, I don't know. I may be on the side of no. That's me. I ain't saying I'm doing it right. I'm out the game. I've been out the game a long time. So I'd probably be single, y'all, because I'd be like, child, I'm going to bed. I am sleepy. I don't want to go anywhere.
That's me too.
Come and tell me and be like, girl, get up, you know. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, she said 10 is kind of late. Yeah, I'm with you now. I said 9. I ain't say the 10. Because 10, I got one eye open, honey. I can't see nothing. And you know, these folks outside ain't nice after dark. And I can't see too well, so I ain't got time for all this.
And then there's that. And thank you for bringing up that part as to why I would lean more on the side of no. Because if we're meeting somewhere, that means I'm having to leave out by myself at night. Baby, we here in Memphis 10. Baby, they don't play out here. These folks ignorant. And folks ignorant everywhere, you know. So I ain't going to put too much on that city, you know. People ignorant everywhere. But at the same time, you know your environment. You know where you're going. You by yourself. You a female. I think that has to play a part for me as well. Like, I don't know if, especially when we're older, we're in our 40s. I'll be in my 40s next year. So I think we think differently. Now, we was 20. We'd be like, oh, let's go. You know, we can survive all 5 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep and get up and it's fine, right? And we're not thinking about the dangers and all the things. But when you get older, it's kind of like, you know, it's not time. We're supposed to be 9:30. Then, you know, we calculating all this stuff in our head. And then, like, shoot, we're going to have to stay there about an hour, maybe 2. This is going to take me another 30 minutes to get home. It's almost 12 o'clock. Don't make it seem like we're not going to do that, Dina. Like, come on.
I said 9 o'clock. You said 10. I did not say 10. I said 9. Because I'm going to be sitting at the restaurant at 8:45. So I'm sleeping. And I'm going to call somebody on the phone. I'm going to leave out of my garage. And I'm going to call somebody on the phone and talk to them, let them know where I am and where I'm going now. I ain't saying it's gonna be an all-time occasion. I'm just saying in the beginning, you know.
So have we switched roles? So you're on the side of go with the flow, and I'm more on the side of you should have read this about me earlier today. You should have told me this. Let me mentally prepare myself. Let me take a nap when I get off work. I'll be ready at 9 o'clock.
Yes, because I have been in this situation where I've had to, and I had a whole attitude because I didn't want to do that because I already had in my mind what I want to do. And I've always been told, especially by guys, that I'm not a go with the flow type of person. Because what I set in my mind to do is what I want to do. And then I get an attitude if you want to come against me. So I was supposed to go out with this guy. We had already said we was going to go out on Friday. He come call to my meet him on Wednesday. Why I gotta meet you on Wednesday? I got a whole attitude. I'm gonna go home and clean up because I'm having girls night in my house this weekend. I got to do this. This is the only day. I gotta go to the shop the rest of the day. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And tonight was the only time I had to clean my house. And I was like, so I end up going to meeting him with an attitude, sitting at the table with a whole attitude, because in my mind, it's so much stuff that I need to do at home and I need to clean up. He was like, well, I thought you was going to get the cleaner to clean your house. I was like, well, I was, but, you know, it's the first of the month. I got to pay bills at the shop, at my house, and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, money a little tight. So he said, well, how much is your cleaner? So I was like, what? So I told him how much it was. You know, I added a little tip in and everything. And he paid for me to get my house clean. Since he was taking my time on that Wednesday night, he paid for me to get my house clean. So ever since then, I be like, all right, then, let me try to, you know, kind of loosen up a little bit, because, you know, it might have missed some listening. Yeah. My house clean. So that's the only reason why I say it that way, because I have ran into some of those, and that has been lately. So but I was so tunnel on what I wanted to do. And that comes with a part of being single. You know, when you be single for so long, you set on doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and marching to the beat of your own drum. Because that's what you've been doing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to step away for one moment, Dina. So I'm gonna need you to drive the car, okay? I'll be right back.
Okay, John L. Griffin, what do you mean she's not? What are you talking about? She's not what? Y'all know when you've been single for a long time, which is myself, that it's a whole new world in dating, period. Like you have to learn how to kind of let your hair down a little bit, not too much though, but just not be so uptight and so like it's your way or the highway. Because guess what? You're gonna send a lot of people on off to the side. John, I'm not good with flow. No, I am not good with flow, and I admitted that I am not good with it. I am trying to learn that, and the Lord knows my heart, and that's what the people always say. The Lord knows my heart because I am a planner, and I cannot stress that enough. But the way God operates, His plan is not your plan, and you got to release control. And I've been learning that for the last 2.5 years. It has not been easy, y'all. When you're used to planning and doing everything with a time and a schedule, like I've been full-time entrepreneur since about a month now, right? I still get up like I'm going to work. I got a routine that I'm still stuck to. I'm gonna do everything I was doing like I'm going to work. I just can't stop. The Lord gonna have to help me, but I'm trying to be better with the going with the flow and kind of letting some of the things go as for being single-minded because once I get into a relationship and then get married, which is the ultimate goal, then it's gonna be a lot of compromising. And I'm sure that I'm not gonna always be able to get my way. Maybe, but I seriously doubt that. So I am trying to learn now why I am single about how to compromise even with myself and not be so much stuck on what I want to do when I want to do. And the Lord has played a big part in that. And He's constantly telling me to release control and that He got it. So that goes with every part of life, right? So I know I am not the only one that struggles with going with the flow. I couldn't because it is very hard for me to do because I need to see a picture, I need to see a plan. So what do y'all have problems with going with the flow? Are y'all go with the flow type people, especially in dating, or do y'all have the boundaries as well? And Tasha, I know 10 is late, honey, because I ain't say 10. I told Sean 9. Because at 10, I'm not coming out the house because I'm asleep. I'm up under the bed at 10 o'clock.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I'm back. All right, what I miss?
We just talked about how the Lord been whooping me with the going with the flow, and John said I am not a go with the flow type of person. I said I've admitted that. I've admitted my sins once and for all. But I am working on that because I know when I get into a relationship and get married, which is the ultimate goal, that I am not gonna always be able to have my way.
Yeah. So so we agreed that boundaries are needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like it's one of those things. What works for me may not work for Dina, and what works for Dina may not work for me. So I don't want anybody to take this as this is the Bible, living truth, because I do feel like you have to do it based on your comfortability, what
Absolutely.
you find to be. I can get away with this, but I can't get away with that. I can do this,
Right.
but I ain't doing that. My hard nose could be, I don't have a problem with that, or vice versa, right?
Mhm. Right.
So in that, I do think that boundaries should be a setup because, like I said before, it is a way to kind of keep you on track, and I think it also helps to weed out the frogs so you can get to the prince. I do think that it plays a part. So now that we've got that part out the way, what do boundaries look like in friendship?
So for me, I've never had to put boundaries up in a friendship until the older I am now, which
Mm-hmm.
is a hard 45. And I feel like I'm no longer that friend that will give 110% and you can only give me 60. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my boundaries are, I don't know if it's gonna be right or not because it's probably like bad, but I treat you accordingly. If you give me 60, I'm gonna give you 60.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna overextend myself um to do whatever it is that I would normally do, which is I'm out. And I've noticed that I tried to get away from this. I'm always the friend that calls.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, Lord, I'm sick of calling people. Why I always got to call people? So in my
Mm-hmm.
mind, I'm taking a break from calling people, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going a whole week. I ain't calling nobody. If they don't call me, I ain't gonna talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
It take a whole week. They be like, I ain't heard from you. I just checking on you. And in my mind, I'm saying, it took you a whole week to call. Why I always gotta be the one to call me? Until this lady told me, that's your ministry. That's what God has you to do, to call and to check on folks. I mean, it's not just with my friends, it's my family and everything. I'm always
Mm-hmm.
the one calling. I just called, just checking on you. All right,
Yeah.
talk to you. I'm like, Lord, I always gotta be the one to call. But not anymore for friends who don't do the same. I have boundaries where I'm not going to allow you to mishandle my time because my time is very valuable.
So I'm gonna say this. Let me shake the table a little bit. And friendship be a little touchy little subject sometimes. I'm gonna shake the table. I feel like if we have to put up boundaries in a look at the pantry. I just saw it. Maybe it fell. If we have to, sorry about that, y'all. If we have to put up boundaries in a friendship, I'm wondering if we are really friends. Just a wonder if
Uh,
we are truly friends. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that. In boundaries, just like this says, says trust, safety, and respect. The reason why you put up boundaries because, hey, I don't want you to continue to disrespect me. So now I'm have to put a partition between us, right?
mhm.
That's what that's what the wall is for. You've done something, or I'm trying to protect myself from that feeling again.
So
And
let me go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So instead of you with your boundary or your petition of what about having a conversation about you said they made you feel some type of way, so you putting up a boundary so they won't make you feel that type of way again.
No, and I'm all for having conversations, right?
Mhm.
And fixing it on the front end. Don't keep sweeping stuff up on the rug, because then that you know, the molehills turn into a mountain. I am for that. I think when friendship comes in and you have to use the word boundaries, I think when I hear that word boundaries, I am really am hearing it as a way of I don't trust you enough to be open in whatever area that it could be. So I'm having to put up a boundary. So that's why I asked the question, can we consider ourselves friends if I have to put boundaries in place with you? Like one of the things says co-workers and bosses, some boundaries can be if I'm off of work at 6 o'clock, don't call me at 7 o'clock talking about work, but we'll talk about it at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's setting the boundary, right? If, in dating, same thing. Let's just use time. If don't be calling me at 10 o'clock at night, talking about let's go out, and I ain't heard from you all day, I'm gonna have to set a boundary, because to let you know that I need you to respect me and my time. And I feel like if we have to put boundaries in place with our friends, should we continue to call them a friend?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Cause like I said, boundaries. No, I've never had to put boundaries up with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it's a boundary. I just cut certain situations off.
Yeah.
And sometimes parents don't even have a problem with because I don't hear from them. So I'm like, well, okay, well. But then too, I am learning that people are going through their own storms.
Yes.
And so I try not to put too much thought into why I ain't heard from this person or why I ain't seen this person because now I will reach out to you because I'm still gonna be that friend, especially if I ain't heard from you, I'm still gonna reach out to you. Now, if you reach back out and say, well, I just got some things going on or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, I keep you on the prayer list, I'll just call and check on you. I ain't want nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you don't respond after several times I've called you, then I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to talk, maybe I'll be here to talk because I feel disrespected when if I call you and you don't return a phone call or you don't send me a text. It's like you ignore me, and I hate to be ignored. Lord,
Yeah.
I'm still
Mm-hmm.
working on that, Jesus. I hate to be ignored because it doesn't take a second for you
Yeah.
to return a text or a call.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
like,
that's why I posed the question of, could it possibly be that we're actually friends if I have to put up a boundary with you? I don't know if we have made it to that level of friendship. Maybe
right,
we're just good associates. Maybe we're just good, people who know each other. Maybe we just, you know, co-workers and co-workers only, whatever title
right.
you want to use, because I don't want it to be, and I do feel like people use boundaries as a way to be distant. Oh, so net fly out of my face. Sorry, y'all. I do think that people use that as a way to kind of be distant and try to walk away and all the things. But I don't know. I don't know. That's just me. That was just something I was just thinking about. I don't know. But anyway, let's get to the abstinence part. Okay, holding out. You ain't doing nothing to marriage as the Lord good old ordained. Okay, what does boundaries look like outside of we ain't about to do no next Netflix and chill? What other boundaries can be put in place outside of just Netflix and chill? Because I think that's the number one thing people go to. I can't go to your house. You ain't coming to my house. We ain't finna be Netflix and chilling, But what else do that look like when you're on a journey of abstinence and you're dating?
Um, so like for me, boundaries, well, not boundaries. Yeah, boundaries on the table, like you said, we talked about. We're gonna go ahead and tell it up front, baby. Sex is
Mm-hmm.
off the table, period. So,
Mm-hmm.
periods. So that's gonna either determine now if you want to walk away, that's fine with me, but we just gonna go and get that on settled right here in the first place, because
Mm-hmm.
that adds a whole different level of problems on top of you trying to get to know somebody. So we
Yeah.
just gonna go ahead and take that off the table and set up a boundary like that right there, okay? We ain't gonna do
Mm-hmm.
that. And however, when we talked about the Netflix and chill, now I'm not gonna say two grown adults cannot actually sit at the house and have dinner or have conversation or do some fun things at the house. However, it's a fine line in that. And I feel like if you feel that, then baby boundary needs to go up. Well, I'm gonna have to ask you to go ahead and leave because the situation ain't getting no better. And I don't feel safe right now. I'm gonna have to. What Kim Hart say? Pineapples. Yeah, we ain't gonna be able to do that. But
But I think that's where the boundaries come in there. So let's expound on it. And I agree. You're adults, you got to be able to handle yourself a certain way, have self-control and discipline. Okay, we got that part out the way. Y'all at the house, you will cook him a mean dinner, child. Okay, all the things, or y'all got to take out what he cook, whatever the case may be. What Now that that's the case, what do boundaries look like? What are set into place to make sure that this don't exceed over and now y'all tiptoeing in the bedroom? Like, what do that look like?
mean, I don't know what the boundaries is besides saying what you just said now. Or, if things start going a little left, then it's just time to go. But like to actually say what a boundary is, I'm let me Google it and see what I want to say. Carry on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me get my answer correctly.
So my house would be set a respectable time, stick to it. So if it comes over at 7, huh?
Say that again.
Set a respectable time that y'all agree upon. So if y'all come in at start saying we're gonna be eating dinner at 7 o'clock, the boundaries be like at a hard 9:30, it's time to go. Because the sleeper you get, you be like, well, I can go and stay over. Or I know it's late once you go and stay. Now you get into some muddy waters. So I do feel like that's one of them. Set a respectable time. And this could be a boundary and keep it a hard boundary from 7 to 9:30. This is what we're doing. I will also say maybe not include a little, liquid courage, which is wine and alcohol and all the things. Maybe not add that in there. I think there should be a boundary, because if you add that in there, that's loosening you up, you letting your guard down, that's doing the thing. So I think it's stuff like that you will have to set in place for yourself, and be like, hey, he has to be gone by 9:30, or I'm leaving his house at 9:30. Or if you do have wine, be like, thank you, but no thank you. I have to drive home, or, whatever the case may be, Also, maybe the type of movie that you watch, that plays a part. What type of music you may listen to, that plays a part. So I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud. What are your thoughts now?
I agree with that for the most part.
For the most part.
To the most, I do. It just sings and sounds. I don't know. Maybe it's me because it just kind of sounds like if we're like little kids and we can't control ourselves to have a conversation after 10 o'clock, or the text, like John said, respectful times to call and text.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's a respectful time to call and text?
I do. And I feel like in the dating world, don't call me, especially if I ain't heard from you all day. And here it is.
Take that part out. Take that you ain't heard from him all day. We're going to take it all the way out.
I'll say this. I'm going to use this person. She going to be mad at me. She may not know. She don't listen. It's my she about to be 17. Okay. So her little friend does this. They'll talk all day. Then they'll maybe go a couple of hours. They ain't heard from each other. Maybe they ain't talked to each other since 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Let's just throw that time out there. And then here it is, 9:30. And it's like, oh, can I come over?
Now.
Excuse you? No, you cannot. So that's what I mean by respectful time. And even though they're kids, so of course there's going to be a little bit more boundaries and, rules and strict, things going on. But I also feel the same way even as adults. Like, what happened between the 5 and 9 o'clock time frame that you just went completely gone and now you're ready to pop back up at 9 o'clock? Not saying I will respond, not saying I wouldn't hold a conversation and have a conversation with you, but I may draw the boundary and put the hard line and be like, no, it's already 9:30, it's kind of late. I'm not, maybe I can catch you next time. And even if he have the best validation, the best reasons in the world as to why he couldn't get it, I understand that. But I also think that one time that you become lenient and break your own boundary, I think it's over from there. And I think it's kind of hard to from that point on to be able to have a boundary going forward, because people like to do that, throw it in your face. Well, Dina, you didn't say that last week when you got out and did that. And you like, there was a one-time thing. And then because they're going to always, it's going to always be something. I got off work late and, I had to go help my mama, or if they got kids, I had to go to the plays. It's always something. So at what point, when do the boundary get set and the line get drawn in the sand?
Or maybe they're too busy today. They need to take a break.
And then there's that.
They're too busy. Because there are too many excuses.
And that's my thing. And that's why you was like, well, I don't feel like you should be treated like kids, but I think that's where boundaries come in, that you have to set a boundary. Because if I keep letting the wall down, you're going to keep doing this. Because it's cool. Oh, Dina cool with me calling at 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. And not because you worked the night shift and you got off at 8 o'clock. Not just because your case. That's not your situation. You get up at 5 o'clock at the same time. It ain't because of that. So once you start doing it, I think you kind of already building a foundation of where's the respect of my time and your time.
But what if they are working or doing something the whole day?
But you said take that out of it.
Now, you said the kids, the this, the that. That just was too much stuff. I'm saying they was working. I don't know.
Now, if they're working, I think that's different. I'm saying in the sense of, if you get off at 5, I get off at 5. I get going home, decompressing, getting your life together, kicking your feet up, taking off your socks. I get it. And be like, oh, I'll call you at 7 o'clock or whatever the case may be. Going 4 hours later, it's kind of crazy to me. Is that not wild? Maybe my expectation is too high. Help me. I don't know. I told you I've been at the game a long time. So chat, tell me. I'm okay with saying, would y'all be like, Sean, girl, no, you sound crazy. I'm okay with that.
I'm just saying it just depends on the person. Like, that's why I say it's important to talk about all that in the beginning, because I'm trying to see how your life set up. Because see, the way my life set up might not be the way your life set up. So then we need to see, well, will this even work right now? Like, are you even available to do this right now? You might need to take a step back, because you might not be able to give, what I'm trying to get you to give right now. Mm-hmm. And I respect that, as long as you tell me that up front, so I ain't gonna have that expectation, so I know how to handle things moving forward, or put boundaries, as you say, moving forward. So then, if I know you always busy, this, and this, then I'm just gonna cut off some stuff. Well, I ain't gonna even. I'm unavailable.
So, okay, I got a question. Going back to what you were saying, where we're not kids, we're the adults, we should be able to handle ourselves like adults. What do boundaries look like then?
I agree with you to a certain extent, but it's still for me is the situation. Like, I don't have a problem with you if you've been working, or if you've been out, you don't went to a game or whatever. I might have talked to you earlier that day. It's 10, 11 o'clock. You might text me, hey, you up? You want to talk? Can you talk? You available? 10, 11 o'clock, I'm good and sleep. But guess what? If I'm fresh and, trying to see what's what, hello, I'm getting my voice on like I woke. I'm just saying. I don't feel like because you're calling me at 10, 11 o'clock that I got to set a hard boundary with you. Like, don't call me after 10 o'clock. Now, I ain't gonna say that one. So I don't have that kind of, that's just me. But everybody different, and then lifestyles are different. Like, I don't have any kids, so it's just me. If I want to get up and roll at 9, which I hardly ever ain't gonna do, because then you gonna have to come pick me up. Mm-hmm. But stuff like that, like, I can move kind of differently than most people. Mm-hmm. So I might be up working, doing a whole lot of stuff during the daytime. Then the evening come, it might be 6 o'clock. I'm just getting home. You said we're going out at 9. Okay, I got time to take a nap. Yeah. Then I'm coming out the house at 9. I'll be back at home by 10:30 though. So you better talk fast.
Right. So let me make a clarification. I'm not saying not to be flexible. I don't want you to take what I'm saying that way. I'm not saying not to be flexible or not to be lenient, because situations happen, things happen. like you said, they worked, they went and hung out, they did this, they did that. I understand that. I'm saying as far as boundaries goes, if we keep constant being a thing, that's where the boundaries come in. And it'd be like, okay, well, can't answer your call every night at 10 o'clock, Because if we're talking and getting to know each other, then you'll know then to go to bed at 9 o'clock. Let me be a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Dang it. It is on the tip of my tongue and I can't even
push it out, Lord. Spit it out for
considerate. There you go. Let me be more considerate about, because if you're dating, even when you get married, you still have to be considerate of one another. So why not put your best foot forward and be considerate and respectful? And I know we've been dating for a month. I know Dina like to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I know she'll be in for me every now and again to talk to me at 10 because I had to work late or I had to take my son to the basketball game, whatever the case may be. But that's not going to be your case every day. That's not going to be your situation every day. So then where did the consideration come in there? And I think that's where now let's set some boundaries, because I ain't gonna be up talking to you on the phone like we some teenage kids and we both got to get up and go to work in the morning. Where the boundaries come in there.
I might be willing to stay up and talk on the phone till 11, 12 o'clock like I ain't got
Well, get me together, girl. Okay. Because I ain't. I'm telling you something. That's why I got to stay married. Because look.
I'm just saying.
Go to sleep. Leave it
alone. I'm just saying.
And I'm mad at that. But that's why I also preface this by saying, what we're saying isn't Bible. It isn't dipped in gold. Because like I said in the beginning, what's a no for me is a yes for you. And what's a yes for you may be a no for me. Right. So I agree with that. And I do think, and kind of like what it says in this paragraph, it's like it requires a certain amount of self-awareness and reflection. So it is a personal thing. It's a personal journey, a personal thing as to what do that look like for you. You know what you're willing to do, what you're willing to be in on, and what you're willing not to be in on. I can't set boundaries for Dina, and Dina can't set none for me. Mm-hmm. So it is going to take that individual person to sit down and be like, okay, I'm okay with this. I ain't okay with that. And the boundaries are pretty much really for you. It's almost like when you're dieting and losing weight. Just because the cake right there don't mean you got to eat it. Gotta stay disciplined.
Yes, that is true.
You gotta stay disciplined. You got to put the boundary and be up. Even though I see the cake, I ain't gonna eat it.
Right.
So that's all. That's just where I was at with it. I don't know. I'm just saying, child.
I get you. And look, my boundaries might change when I dip back into that pool. But as for now, when it's fresh and new, you be open to,
yeah.
Like when you were back in school, like you sleep nice, sleep no good way. You sleep scarf on your head, lashes on the bathroom sink. Now let me get up. I'm finna get up.
Yeah.
So that's in the beginning though. But as time goes on, and then if you feel like that's the person that come have conversation with, and I just feel like when you have certain boundaries, like you said, you need to examine their relationship or their friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Because I shouldn't have to set boundaries with my friends.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Because then we're really not friends, and I'm okay with that. And I have learned that friends sometimes are for a season.
Yep.
And they may have something they going through that you just got to go on and just pray for them. And when they come back, if they come back, then hey, because you can have friends who you don't even talk to often, and when you talk back to them months, maybe even months, maybe even a year later, everything picks up just like the same.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's different, and I've never had to set boundaries with well, I ain't gonna take that back, with family members. Doing business with family members, I had to set a couple of boundaries because look, What we not gonna do is play me for no food. Okay. So
Yeah.
I gotta set boundaries with you and let you know this is what it is right here. You can
Yeah.
either respect it or you can roll on.
Yep. I agree. And I think that's in every aspect of whatever life, whether it's like you said, we're dating, friendship, um, co-workers, whatever it is, there could be some boundaries, and boundaries don't have to always be a bad thing. So
Yeah,
there's
that
that.
can be good. I can say I have a one good boundary that I do set up. And like I said before, like most of all of my friends are married.
Mm-hmm.
So one boundary that I set all the way around the room is I may have like only two of my friends that I just pick up the phone and call their husband and tell them, hey, I need you to do this and the other without going through them.
Your friend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, only two. Other than that, I still got boundaries up. I'm gonna go through you,
Yeah.
tell you to tell your husband this, or you
Right.
tell
Right.
your husband that, and that's just I guess it's because the way I was brought up.
Yeah. And then it's a respect thing too.
Right.
That's a respect too. Okay. But y'all, we done hit our album. We didn't even we done hit our album already. Okay. All right, you guys. So we were gonna do an open panel, but we are exceeded our time already. A and B, we're kind of few in numbers, so wouldn't probably nobody come on to be able to have a conversation. But I will say this, y'all. I did my whole little spiel in the beginning. I ain't gonna repeat it. Just go back and listen to it in the beginning of what I said. But just to touch on a little bit more, we are in the beginning stages. We are starting up. We are starting something new, and it is going to take some time. So for those who are watching us, go ahead and share it out. Share it to Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be, just so the people come on over here. My task for this weekend, I'm gonna try my best to hold myself to it, is to place us on other platforms like Spotify, Apple, and places where you can get podcasts. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. I will be posting this on our community tab to show where we are listed for those other platforms. Okay, so they can get the people something to listen to while we're on our little mini break, and when they can catch up in those 2 weeks while we're gone, and they can catch back up with us, and we can start fresh, and they can pick back up with us there. Okay. Dina, do you have anything, any thoughts, anything? What's your ending out for our first season? I think that's a good way to end it. What are your thoughts, your experience? You got it under your belt. How you feel?
So I feel good about the 10 episodes that we have done. Because in the beginning I was very frightened because I don't like to talk in front of people. Crazy, right? Much as I like to talk, I don't have to have a platform. I don't have to have a mic. I want to talk to you sidebar. We can talk all night long. However, I have welcomed it. And every time before we get ready to go on, I do say my prayer. And my prayer is even, you know how, like you said, don't despise small beginnings. My prayer is, Lord, while we are doing this, because this is something that God gave us to do, right? So we didn't just pull out of our hats, oh, we're going to start a podcast and we're going to do this and the other because everybody else doing a podcast. Absolutely not. That is not why we did this. That is not why we are here. And my thing is to any and every time that we come on, let somebody get something from whether we have been through it, whether we have grown through it, whether we know anything about it, but just to be able to help somebody with whatever they may be going through or going to their own self, right? So I have, like I said, gotten a different perspective on a lot of things. And I just want to share that and be transparent with some things. Like I told them on Facebook, I'm gonna tell y'all some of my business, but I ain't gonna tell y'all all the business because you know the Lord do give you wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can't tell it
So
all.
can't tell it all, but I can tell you what God tells me to tell you because
Mm-hmm.
most of the business is not my business, it's God's business anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whoever needs to hear it. My prayer is that they do hear it, and that you all have enjoyed the 10 episodes as we have enjoyed doing them because baby, we don't rehearse nothing. We don't talk all week. We talk at about 6:50 when we get ready to come on. So what you see is what you get. We don't do no rehearsing
No,
because
no
thing we
rehearsing.
wanted
No.
to do was to just be ourselves and give it to it like it is. And
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of good feedback on about the topics that we've had, about people are not talking about those topics. You kind of sweep it up under the rug. But we're here to talk about it. And like I said earlier, when we take our little break, we're gonna pray and ask God which direction that we should go in because all things through prayer, right?
Yeah.
We don't just wing it like we just gonna be doing something. We're gonna pray about whatever it is and whatever God give us to do. It's what we're gonna do because it's for a reason. Now, what the reason is, we might not know right now, but we're gonna do what we're supposed to do. And I talked earlier about obedience is better than sacrifice. And I don't know why God gave me that yesterday. And even on today, somebody posted it and I seen it. And I was like, being obedient in this year has opened up so many doors for me already from just January up until now. And that was because I was obedient in this one big thing. And it just opened a door for a whole lot of things. And one of these podcasts was one. So though we may be doing it, we think for one reason, we don't know what God have for us and why we're doing it. So just come on the journey with us, and we thank you for being with us so far. That's all I got.
That was a great ending. I'm not going to add anything else to it. That's all we got, you guys. Thank y'all for joining in with us. Remember, we will be back on, I'm about to say November, April 8th. I don't know where November came from. Maybe the Lord taking me somewhere else about November. We'll come back to it. Maybe we'll have a big announcement in November, okay? But
Let me write that down.
write it down. I don't know where November came from, but we will be back April 8th on a Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Let me say this. I think the last two shows we did, I think we started at 7:15. That is because I've been getting off late, you guys, and I've been getting home. So do try to have a little time to kind of sit down, talk to my children before I jump, and my husband right before I jump on. So if you see it off a little bit by 15 minutes or so, just know, oh, Sean got off late. Just know that's what the case was. Our goal is to stick to our 7 p.m. Central Standard Time slot, okay? And our goal is to do 45 minutes to an hour. Now, we ain't really been sticking to that 45, but our goal is not to go over an hour unless the Lord just moved and the conversation just flows to where we just went past our time, okay? But that's all we got. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, the rest of y'all week. Have a great weekend, a good 2 weeks off. Go back and familiarize yourself with us. If you did not see the first episode, we opened up by telling who we are, what we are, our status, why we're doing this and everything. And we're on to bigger, better, and greater things. God has greater for you, for me, and for you all. Okay. This is a journey that we're all going to grow on. Although I am married, I'll say this the last time, the biggest room in the world is the room of improvement. I can always be a better wife. I can always be a better friend. I can always be a better person. Okay, so this is a time for us to all grow and to show where our flaws, our weakness, and our shortcomings come, because sometimes we can always point out the wrong in everybody else, and we never want to take that mirror and put it on ourselves and be like, you're not too hot right here in this area too. So that's another reason why we call it the Let's Unload podcast, for us to unload, be vulnerable, and be transparent. Okay. All right, you guys, that's it. That is all. We'll see you guys in season 2. We coming in hot, okay? We coming in hot. We coming in shaking the table. So be prepared. We'll see you guys, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. Subscribe if you haven't done so.
Bing.